Don't get me wrong, the kitchen in our new build home is nice, but it's definitely lacking some personality. It feels very builder grade and it just doesn't feel like us. We're here today to change that by completely renovating our kitchen all by ourselves. And of course, on a budget as always. Some things we saved up for and splurged on, but for most of the projects in here, we're saving on costs by building it ourselves or repurposing it from places like Facebook Marketplace. I can't wait to turn this cramped average kitchen into a bigger, high-end looking, more inviting space that's most importantly accustomed to our family. There's a lot of projects we have to complete in this makeover, so I'll be walking you through each one step by step. I'm definitely not a pro, but I can't wait to figure it out and learn together. Let's get started with our DIY budget kitchen makeover. We're gonna hop right into it today by starting with putting trim around the sliding glass door. We recently did this to all of our windows on this floor, and it's just crazy how such little detail can add so much to a space. I did a full tutorial on how we did this in my last video, so I won't go too in depth today. We have other things that we need to get started on in here, so that's what we're doing right now. Nick is getting everything ready so we can take the microwave down, and I'm putting some paint swatches on the cabinets so I can really get a feel for what the colors look like in this exact setting. We're taking our over-the-range microwave out and putting in a new, smaller one in the pantry. I just had no idea how massive this microwave was. Oh my gosh, you guys, but look at how much space cleared up already just by taking out that one little appliance. What I thought was little, but it was actually so big. While I finished up the trim on the sliding door, Nick, being the best husband ever, started clearing out the cabinets and the countertops so we have a blank canvas to work with. We started taking the doors off the cabinets so they don't get in our way when we raise them up. We're gonna paint the cabinets anyways, so it will be a lot easier to do that with the doors off. Let's talk about this fridge. Look how much it sticks out into this little tiny walkway. This little area is already narrow as it is, so we have to do something about it. I found, which is probably the best purchase I've ever found from Facebook Marketplace. I'm about to show you it here soon, but first we have to take out these cabinets to make room for it. Here is a little kitchen update. This is where we're at. So we got our fridge delivered. I love it. It's from Marketplace. So we have to clean it out and just like disinfect it and everything. They missed the top panel, so we also have to get that as well. And then we're just gonna figure out how we can build this whole area in. So we'll like put a little side panel on it so it can go all the way up to the ceiling. So it'll just look a lot more built in. And then these cabinets will be the same color as all the rest of the cabinets. So we're trying to figure that out. We have this paint situation going on over here. I'm trying to figure out what paint colors I want. And then we are in the process of moving the cabinets up. So we've moved that one up. We just got to do the middle one and that one. And then we have everything to start our backsplash. So we're gonna take out the like extra 4-inch slab on the counter, and then we'll start putting our backsplash in. Really excited. And then I think once we start putting the backsplash in is when we'll really know what paint to use. So we're gonna start it, we're gonna attempt it, we're gonna do it ourselves, and it's gonna be fine. We also need to clean this, so that's what's on the agenda today. We also have to make our vent hood. Totally forgot to update you guys. We are making a vent hood. So we're gonna just like cover this cabinet. It's gonna be an under cabinet vent, but we're gonna cover it so it won't look like an under cabinet vent. It'll look a lot more expensive. So we're gonna put a little range in. We also finished the trim on the door. I love how she looks, especially compared to the windows. She looks very cohesive with the trim on the windows, but it's just a little bit taller because our door is so short compared to the windows. You can see how short it is. So we just did a little bit of a taller board on top just to raise it up a little bit more. It's coming along, so let's get to work. We filmed this over the course of a few days. We have kids, so we have to work on it at little sections at a time whenever we can. But these cabinets were so much heavier than I expected. I knew they were big, but I was not expecting them to be this uncomfortable to hold and just heavy. It was definitely a challenge, but at the same time, it was easy because all we had to do was move them up a few inches, make sure it was level, and we used the same screw holes that were already in the cabinet, so we made sure to hit the stud in the wall. It was easy because we didn't have to find the studs, but it was definitely physically challenging, that's for sure. These slabs were pretty easy to remove. They were just adhered with caulk, so it was really easy to just cut through it and pry it off. I know this is only 4 inches and such a minor detail, but I really think it's going to be huge in making the room feel more spacious. So we moved our oven out so we could do the backsplash behind it, and you can see my face. I was so disgusted with the amount of crusties that were under this oven. That was definitely a reminder for me to clean out this area a lot more often because ugh. I'm putting some painter's tape here where I want the backsplash to end. This will just help guide where I want the backsplash to go so everything is straight. Since I'm not working directly above the countertop here, I'm using a level to make sure it's leveled, and I found myself using a level a lot during this tiling process. So definitely have one on hand if you plan to do a project like this. Nick is cleaning off any dust or debris from the walls. He's also putting some contact paper on the counter to protect it, and so we have something to lay the tile out on to dry. Our tile came in. Look how pretty. I know I was originally gonna get squares, but I changed my mind at the last minute because I have a really good idea for them. I actually found this one. This wasn't one of the suggestions, but it's real zellige. So zellige, and it was like the cheapest one I could find. This is from Ryad Tile, and it's the 2x6 rectangles in the color natural white. I'll leave a link and everything down below, of course, but I love it because there's so many different tones. They gave us a whole bunch of different boxes, enough to cover our square footage, but I just love the different tones. So my plan is to, yeah, there's a couple like this that have a chip in it, but they say to get like 10 to 15% of overage because that's gonna happen during shipping, which is fine. We can use it if we need it, and if not, then we can just use the other ones. So this is my plan, to stack them like this. Isn't that cute? I'm gonna take this one out. I just think this pattern is going to make the kitchen just look so big. Like imagine just having this vertically stacked. I just think it's going to kind of draw your eye up and just make the space feel bigger. You're supposed to soak in water because it removes all the air from the clay, and you can see like all of the air bubbles coming out of them. With authentic zellige, you're supposed to soak I don't know how you say it. I think it's zellige or zellige, I don't know. You're supposed to soak the tiles in water for a few minutes before you apply it. I'm also making sure I grab a few tiles from each box for each batch that I'm doing. The directions say to do this because each box can vary in color and just finishes just a little bit. So this way we will get an even finish all throughout the entire backsplash. Let me start out by saying I'm definitely not a professional at all, In fact, this is my first time installing any tile ever, and they say that you should hire a pro to install this kind of tile, so that is good. I did a ton of research though on this, and I'm very confident that we can figure it out without having to hire someone come in and do it for us. It was a little intimidating, I will say, to do such a big design project for the first time in the center of our home. But I am so glad I pushed myself to do it because we definitely saved on cost this way. I also got to choose which tile went where, and I was a lot more pickier than a contractor would have been. The adhesive I'm using is a mastic. I will leave the exact name and brand of the one I use down below. I just followed the recommendation of what the tile company recommends for this specific clay brick. So you're supposed to spread a thin layer of this on the wall and then put grooves in it like this with your trowel. This is so the mastic has room to spread and expand when you push the tile down onto it. This will ensure the best stick, and I could definitely tell that they were secure when I used it this way. With each row and column, I'm making sure it's as level as it can be. No two of these tiles are the same, so of course it's not going to be perfect, but we don't want it to be slanted either. I'm using spacers in some area where it really needs level, mostly just on the bottom row, and then everything else is just kind of based off of that. So not many were needed in other places. I wanted that textured overlaid look that looks handmade and authentic, so I'm not too worried about lining each tile up perfectly. That's kind of the look I'm going for. So the directions from the tile company says that you should spread adhesive on the wall and a little on the back of the tile too. But I've also seen people online just put it on the wall and it works fine just like that. So I tried both to try it out and let you know what works, and I couldn't really tell a difference. It was faster for sure if you spread it on the wall, just because you could put more on at the one time. But for the corners and harder to reach places, putting the mastic on the tile was a lot easier because you could actually access the tight corners with the little tile rather than with the big surface of the trowel. Another thing I learned is make sure you have a damp cloth near you to wipe away any mastic that's coming out the sides or is on the surface of the zellige. Why do I keep saying it like that? It's just so much harder to get it off once it's dry, and it also ensures the cracks will stay clear and even between each tile. Okay, so here is what we got going on. We're mostly done with the backsplash over here. We just have to get a wet saw to cut the pieces around the outlets because the saw that we had just was not working. So we just need to rent one, so we're gonna do that. We also have to get this done over here. I gotta finish the backsplash. And we also have to build in the fridge. And then we're gonna put floating shelves on this shelf. Not on this shelf, on this wall, like where the backsplash is. So that's gonna look really nice. We're also going to paint. So it is down to these 3 colors. I don't know if you can see. So this is Accessible Beige. This is called Asiago. And then this is Swiss Coffee. It's so hard to see. But I am leaning towards the middle one, which is the Asiago. I think it's a nice, more of an off-white creamy color rather than like tan or a beige, which is exactly what I'm going for. This color is almost the exact same color as my wall, so I think I'm just going to steer away from that for now, just so I don't have to paint the rest of my walls. But all in all, I think the backsplash turned out so good. This backsplash is very forgiving to work with because it's handmade, so every piece is not the same. and it's gonna be imperfect. It's not gonna be lined up straight, and that's exactly how I want it to be. So for this tile specifically, you actually don't need to grout it, and it's traditionally not used with grout, but you can use grout with it. I'm just wondering, do you guys like it like this, or do you think I should grout it? I don't know, I like it like this. I like how it looks handmade and imperfect, and I like how you can kind of see the imperfections without the grout. So let me know, what do you guys think? Grout or no grout? So I ordered a new oven and it's just so beautiful. It was on sale and I also had a coupon code, and so I just couldn't pass up the deal. I really do think it's gonna make the whole kitchen. I don't know when it's gonna get here. It said hopefully in a week or two. So I'm hoping that that's true and it arrives on time, but it's an Italian range and it is just so beautiful. It's white and gold and it just is gonna be a showstopper. I am so excited. I really think it's gonna make the whole kitchen in here. We're also gonna paint. I bought a paint sprayer, so I'm gonna go through the whole process of painting the cabinets. I wanna do it the correct way so it looks nice and professional. We're gonna do that together next time, and I don't know how many parts this is gonna take, but we're gonna do it all together. Okay, also let me know, grout or no grout? Vote in the comments. Bye guys.